the intro. What do you think? All right, I'm sorry. Hey, welcome everybody. It's the Hermetica and Emerald Tablets with Gerard with a new intro with Christine Wins, Jonathan Close, and nobody else because she got scared and ran away from the camera. What do y'all think about the intro? I'm losing my mind. That was a complete random thing.
Wow.
It was good.
Was it okay?
Wow, it was okay. Well, on the end, I would think the alien one, I would have more preferred a very more light being. But the alien was a little bit dark. I said, oh, but
I've never told you, but your music is really meditative, and it always puts me in mind of a really calm, reflective mindset. So
It does. And so a couple things. It's not my music. It's royalty free. I stole it.
Okay.
And two, it does that for me. And the only reason it does it for me is because of y'all. If that makes sense. Susan's
She's
here.
back.
We'll start over. Should we go back at the beginning and start back over?
Yeah.
And Susan Jewel, everybody. So no, but seriously, so that tune for the last 4 years is the beginnings of me seeing my friends, right? The people who I resonate with the most, the people who, we've been through thick and thin, we've been through argument and fight, we've been through grow up, learn, figure this out, change. And so that sound for me, it's meditative, Jonathan, because it makes me feel like I'm coming home. I'm about to talk with my friends, getting out of crazy world into the real world for a little bit of time. So anyway, y'all let me know what you think. That was fun. I've got to tweak it. It's not perfect, but it was the beginnings of trying to get a little more serious about what we're doing here.
Okay, just real quick, your timer is a
anyway.
liar because it said it had 3 minutes.
Who said what? Oh.
That's why I wasn't here, because the timer lied.
Okay.
I was
I
like,
don't
still
know
got
if
3
people are
minutes?
going to accept that one.
All right, well.
Yeah, but no, it was perfect.
5 hours.
We were like, hey, we all came back, and I was like, Christine, Jonathan, Gerard, hey.
Amalia, how to make
it. I think that's why people watch live streams, because you never know what the heck is going to happen. So I just wish when it came back, you weren't there, Susan, like your dog was like on top of your table, like drinking your coffee or something.
That would have been awesome.
All right. I'm going to shut up. This is Christine and Susan's idea and pulling Jonathan and I in. So we'll let you guys do the intro. I don't want to screw that up. I've already screwed everything else up.
Go ahead, Christine. You're always
But where we start? No, we were actually planning to link the Indian knowledge, the Bible's knowledge, and tablets of emerald, and then Hermetica. I don't know these two together and see the links and the same actually the same understanding but different explained. So that's what we're trying to do, but there is millions of topics about those, so we have to start with
because you guys were talking about the pyramids, and like that's in the emerald tablets,
Yes.
and
actually I wanted to start maybe to read the Sons of God. That's maybe 4 pages. I don't know if you want to. It's out of the initiation, because then we go to the original.
Right.
The original knowledge, which was, and this is like a knowledge which is totally remembered. So it is totally remembered. So can I start to read it, because I have to translate it immediately from Flemish in English, so I might. And I stop. What?
Do you want me to read it?
Oh yeah, the Sons of God.
Yeah,
you
chapter 24. Yeah.
Can I give my 2 cents?
I just opened right to
excited? Can I say why I'm excited? Am I allowed to say why I'm excited?
It'll cost you 50 cents.
No, because it's exciting to me. It's crazy. No, real talk. Like, look. So, as a lot of y'all know, I was raised in a church, right? And so I came up in a very religious family. We used to read the Bible like people eat cereal. My father used to crack the whip. We used to read the Bible through. And so I always had an issue with it as a kid, right? I had an issue with the ark. I had an issue with the fantastic things. I had an issue with creation. And so this is phenomenal to me, because knowing that there are earlier texts that have scripture within, that sync up with some of the teachings that Christ brought to the Jewish faith, that sync the whole world back to some root religion or root faith spirituality teaching that we lost, is huge for me. It is everything for me. And so Susan's been talking about, Gerard, you should read the Hermetica. You should read the Hermetica. You should read the Hermetica. And after Susan, shut up. All right, I already read the Bible and I read the Emerald tablets. I'm good. But when I didn't say that, but when you link all these things back together, and I started looking at the Hermetica, I'm flipping out. I'm flipping out because now I see the excitement in y'all's eyes who've already been reading this stuff. But we've lost human truth through religious dogma and kings and how they've been modifying books, deleting root faith because they needed to do things like, thou shalt kill, thou shalt steal, thou should not meditate, thou should not do yoga, thou should not tap into the core of what humanity has always been. And so it's exciting for me from that perspective that I think that my personal journey going towards spirituality away from dogma, I do need to be able to fill in certain holes and gaps and take scripture back to earlier sources. So it's exciting for me. And that's what this is about. It's about the Hermetica, the Emerald Tablets, spirituality, and that's what I got from your intro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to say real quick too, it's that like, again, I didn't read the Indian Vedas or anything, but the Hermetica, the Emerald Tablets, like for me, the Bible was hard to understand in a way, but these are so simple. Like when you get closer to the root of religion or spirituality, it's just simple, it's pure, and it's really just about you and your experience with life in the universe. It has nothing to do with anybody else telling you what to do or some construct you have to go to. It's just, and it's so simple and pure. It just is. I don't know how to explain it.
It is the consciousness, and when you reach that consciousness, nobody else can tell you what to do because you're in that consciousness.
Yeah.
So that is the power. We have to go back.
Sorry.
And because it's such a deep and powerful thing, and it links together Christianity, spirituality, Islam, Jewish, back to maybe closer roots of Hinduism and Buddhism and Tao, back further beyond that. It includes everybody, natural law, like everything is included. And so it is the primer, right? It is the axis that we all flow from that pulls us all together. It is what keeps everyone divided into different religions and faiths and believings, what is good to do and what isn't good to do. And so that's huge. This is what we need to bring humanity back into righteous vibration with the universe or soul or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited. I forgot what I was even going to say. I wasn't going to say that. I'm like a dog. I'm like wagging my tail. There's like so much here that I'm looking into.
The only thing I'd add.
I was going to answer Mark. Real quick. Yes, it's going to be a long show. Yes, get the kids, dog, take the dog out. Use the bathroom.
Get your snacks,
go
everyone.
potty.
Get your snacks.
If you got a face diaper, you can use it as a booty diaper. Rarely, you may not need to get up for a while. But it's going to be. I think this is a series, y'all. I don't think this is a show. I think it's a series. I think it's going to take a long time to process. So this might be part one of a longer series.
People spend their whole lives discussing the different wisdom traditions in every culture in the world. And because every one of them has been seeded by spirit. And you can spend your whole life talking about it and working on yourself. And then come back the next life and continue and do that until you reach the point where I'll use a film analogy because I love films. In The Razor's Edge, when Larry Darrell finally, he's on the mountain and he's reading the Upanishads, and the scene there where he's got the book and he's got his little fire there, and he looks up from his book and he looks out, and then he just tears the page out and throws it in the fire. Until you reach that point where you no longer need the book because you've internalized it.
Yes, it is. You just uncovered the clouds, but it's already internalized, but we have covered it.
Yes. whenever you reach that point, you need this. This is the boat that gets you across the river. But once you're across the river, you no longer need the boat.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I got from that? I got Book of Eli. You know, once you, and of course that has to do with the Bible if you've seen it, but you know, he lived it, and he memorized the entire book.
Mm-hmm.
And have you seen the movie? It's like a non-scholar movie. You might not have seen it. Yeah.
Oh, the movie? I thought you were talking about the Book of Eli. Okay, yeah, no, I've seen it.
The Book of Eli. Well, he internalized the whole thing, and I mean, spoiler alert, it's not a new movie, but there were no Bibles left, right? And so, but then, you know, of course, there's dogma with everything, and I try to take that and spit that out, but he internalized it, and he knew it, and he was blind. I'm really ruining the movie. Never mind. I'm not saying that.
Anything over a year old.
No spoilers, Gerard.
It's a good movie. I'm saying it's a good movie, but he internalized these scriptures in a time where they didn't exist anymore, and that's all I'll say about it. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, he remembered the Bible word for word.
I'm here to dumb down the things that Jonathan and Christine said.
Start reading, Jonathan. Yeah.
Susan fits in the middle, and like I'm the bottom, the low vibing.
No.
I sprinkle it with happiness.
No.
Yeah, like Jonathan, like he read the original text with Christine. Susan read the book before the movie. I read the movie in the comic book, and that's my spot.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, Christine, did you want me to read the chapter?
Yeah, you read, because I have to translate it, and it takes more time.
Why don't we give folks just a really brief kind of background on the book? Why don't you do that?
Yeah, I will do that. So, for all people, we are reading the book of Initiation. And Initiation is a book written by Elisabeth Haich. And in that book, she remembers, it's an autobiography, I would say, her life in Egypt 3,000 years ago. And before she is there, she had a kind of normal life. And but she was extremely sensitive, and she knew already as a child who, if she looked in the mirror, I cannot see the self, I cannot see myself. But the people around her, they were laughing because, of course, look in the mirror, that's you. No, and she was saying, no, it's not me, that's not me. And then so she was very aware. Her parents had a lot of compassion and love for her, so she could develop her. She had a very strong wisdom. She had very high skilled talents. She could read suddenly, and then she did art. Whatever she did extremely well and very good. And then during her growing up, she saw and heard sometimes a voice, and she felt that as a very loving, deep, caring person who was looking after her. And in the beginning, she thought, it's my father. It's her father in the earth life. So she saw her father. My father is the father of the universe. So she thought it was that. But then later on, she discovered it's somebody else. But then during her discovery, she was seeking, like we are seeking. And then at one moment, so that she was, like I was telling the story of the witch yesterday. So that was her experience also. So at one moment she was ready, and then suddenly her mentor, her real mentor from the times of Egypt, she could see him totally. And then she started remembering her life, that she was a daughter of a pharaoh in Egypt 3,000 years ago. Her father was from pure from the gods, the god line. They were the gods, and the mother of her was from earth. She was an earthly being, and she was mixed. And she was in that when she remembering, she's and she tells a bit about her life. She was like the daughter of the pharaoh, so everybody respected her. She was a very beautiful woman, and she had a lot of she was very proud and things like that. But she wanted to be initiated. She wanted to be the wisdom like she knew her father had, and then her mentor. The name is I forgot the name. An Egyptian god, the name of her mentor.
You mean her mentor, Tahotep.
That mentor. And he said to her, you're still young, you're not ready for initiation, you cannot reach that high godlike consciousness, because they had a literally 100% godlike consciousness, because you're too young, you need to have a little bit experience in the earthly life. But she said, no, I'm coming from the gods. I know I can reach that height, and I'm very sure, and she was super confident, I can do it. But her father and her mentor tried to warn her, you're not ready for it. And anyhow, at one moment she asked, but then why are we having this kind of head, like oval sections, and the other people not? Because I know I'm from the gods, but the earthly people, they're different. And then he explains of the son of the gods, and then your story can start. Maybe you start reading it.
Okay. So this chapter is called Sons of God, and this is right out of the middle of the book. The next day, Pharaoh summons me. I am to see him after his audience. At the appointed hour, the controller of the royal household comes and escorts me to Father. Come, my child, says he. I want to tell you what Tahotep and I have agreed upon about your initiation. Tahotep is her mentor, her teacher, spiritual teacher.
Yeah.
She says, did he come to see you? No, says Father, and looks at me quizzically. Did you go to see him? I ask again. No, again, he answers, smiles. Father, I tell him, for a long time I've wanted to ask you how you discuss things with Tahotep without going to see him or his coming to see you. I've often noticed that you've told me something about Tahotep as if the two of you had been together in a long consultation. And yet you had not left the palace, and he had not come to see you. How is that possible, Father? Ever since my childhood, Father has been accustomed to my questions, and he now answers me as patiently as ever. You have a mirror, and you have seen your head in this mirror, haven't you? Yes, Father, I see my head every day when Menu comes and does my hair. And what have you noticed? Said Father. That I have much longer head than I have a much longer head than the sons of men in general. But you too, and Tahotep, and most of the people in our race, the sons of God, as people call us, have a same longer head form. It's noticeable even in spite of the kerchief or headgear or ornaments the person might be wearing. How is it, Father? Why is the shape of our heads different from that of the heads of the sons of men? Look, my child, for you to understand many of the things here on earth, you must first know something about the earth's development. Just like all the celestial bodies in the universe, and like all the forms of life on these celestial bodies, our earth is subject to the laws of constant change. The divinely creative forces radiate from the eternal, infinite, original source, and in constantly expanding waves, they penetrate the plane of matter. That is to say, matter is formed from these forces. This process reaches its highest point in ultra matter. Then, automatically, it reverses itself. The process of spiritualization begins again, and the matter is transformed into force. But this process takes eons of time. The changes are going on regularly, but so subtly and slowly that they cannot be noticed or observed in the course of one human life. On the other hand, some changes which require thousands of years of slow and unnoticed preparation occur suddenly and visibly when the proper time has come. Right now, we are living in such a period of transition in which changes are noticeable. One of these phenomena is evident in the fact that various races of people with roundish skulls are led and governed by rulers who are spiritually greatly superior to them and who are even different from them physically. They have a more graceful figure and an elongated cranium. Once there lived on Earth a race of people very different from the races living today. They manifested completely the law of spirit and not the law of matter like the races of people living today. These people were conscious on the divine plane and manifested God here on earth without any admixture of the self-seeking characteristics of the body. In their divine purity, these people deserved the name the sons of God. Their entire life was based on spirituality, on love, and on selflessness. And they had no physical appetites, urges, and passions to cast shadows on the spirit. The members of this high race possessed all the secrets of nature, and as they were perfectly acquainted with their own powers and kept these powers completely under the control of the spirit, they were also able to control and guide nature with all of its tremendous forces. Their knowledge was boundless. They did not need to earn their bread with physical toil, and instead of earning their livelihoods with the sweat of their brow, they put the forces of nature to work. They knew all the laws of nature, the mysteries of matter, the powers of the mind, and the secrets of their own being. They also knew the secret connected with the transformation of force into matter and of matter into force. They constructed devices and tools with which they could store up, set in motion, and utilize not only the forces of nature, but also their own spiritual forces. They lived happily and peaceably as the dominant race in a great part of the earth. At the same time, however, other creatures similar to the sons of God were also living on earth, but with much more material bodies and on a much lower plane of development. Obtuse in spirit, their consciousness was completely identified with the body. They lived in primeval jungles, struggling with nature, each other, and with animals. These creatures were the ancestors of present-day man. The race of the sons of men you see in our country represent a cross between these two races. As I said a moment ago, the law of constant motion and change is at work throughout the universe. The Earth is now going through a period in which the process of materialization is advancing. This means that the divinely creative power is moving farther and farther on into matter. And the power on Earth is gradually falling more and more into the hands of ever more material races of people who were once under the guidance of higher, more spiritual races. Little by little, the higher race is dying out. They are withdrawing from the plane of matter to the spiritual plane, and they will leave humanity alone for a period of time, as time is reckoned on Earth, many, many thousands of years, so that humanity may, without visible guidance, climb upward with its own power. So it has come about that this animal-like material race of cavemen is experimenting in accordance with divine laws, growing mightier and more powerful until the time comes for it to begin ruling the earth. Before leaving the earth, however, the higher race had to implant its special powers in the lower race. Through the operation of the laws of heredity, this will enable the lower race, after a long, long process of development, to arise out of matter again. This is why many sons of the divine race made the great sacrifice of begetting children with the daughters of primitive man. Through this first crossing of the races, there has developed new individual types and gradually new races of people. The divine power of the sons of God and the mighty physical powers of the daughters of men have produced different types of descendants. On the one hand, physical, and on the other, spiritual giants. There have also been physical titans who, from their mother's ancestry, have inherited primitive, undeveloped brains. In these persons, the spiritual power of their fathers, working on the material plane, created tremendously strong bodies. With their gigantic physical strength, these individuals have overcome weaker persons, and because of the animal appetites of their nature, they have become tyrants, greatly to be feared. But there have also been spiritual titans who have manifested their inherited creative power through the higher centers of the brain, rather than on the lower physical plane. These spiritual giants were assigned the task of leading and teaching for a time. The lower animal body-conscious race of humans, as well as the hybrid race, which later arose through the interbreeding I have already mentioned. These spiritual giants have the task of teaching the people these two races, wisdom, sciences, and arts, as the basis of a higher civilization, and of giving them a good example of divinely universal love, of unselfishness, and spiritual greatness. This is why there are some countries today where despotism and tyranny are dominant, while others are ruled with love and wisdom. This will gradually disappear, and humanity will know the great initiates and their secret sciences only through historical records, through tradition and legend. However, even in the darkest period of human development, by virtue of the laws of heredity, there will be the possibility that a son of God may be born in a human body in order to show humanity the way out of darkness and misery. Father, I ask, is our country the country of the sons of God? No, my child. The continent which once was the home of the sons of God has been completely destroyed. Gradually, there were fewer and fewer descendants of the divine race. They left their mortal frames behind them and did not reincarnate themselves. Finally, there were only a few left in various parts of the earth to transmit dominion to the human beings who were constantly growing in power. Because of the interbreeding of the two races, however, there arose some individuals with knowledge of magic acquired from their fathers and the animal-like, physically oriented selfishness of their mothers. These were able to infiltrate into the temple, and by virtue of their spiritual powers, they received initiation. However, they degraded their knowledge to black magic and made selfish use of their own powers and the natural forces they controlled with the instruments and equipment of the temple. The sons of God, who were then still living in this part of the earth, saw what was coming. They knew that these powers mercilessly destroy anyone who uses them wrongly, that is, with satanic selfishness instead of with divine unselfishness. They knew the black magicians were headed straight for perdition, and their blind avarice would cause general destruction. So, the last sons of God built huge ships, closed on all sides, and even insulated against the forces which penetrate and dissolve matter. Then they secretly took aboard a few of their instruments, their families, and their domestic animals, and closing all openings, they sailed away from the part of the earth that was to be destroyed. Some sailed north, some sailed east, some south, while some, sailing westward, arrived here, where we are now. The black magicians soon lost control over their instruments. It should have been their task to conduct the highest cosmic divine forces into these instruments and store them there, because the only source of this power on earth is the human being itself. But the more selfish these people became, the more a change took place in the current with which they charged these instruments for later use. One day, when the sons of God in their insulated ships had already sailed away to a sufficient distance, the tragedy occurred. One of the black magicians unintentionally conducted into his own body a force which dissolves matter, that is, changes it into another form of energy. When this process had once been set in motion, the matter which had been transformed into energy goes on, acting as a destructive force until it has dematerialized everything. This way, that whole continent was destroyed. Finally, the new forces thus created slowed down and eventually halted the process of disintegration. The entire dematerialization, the entire dematerialized continent was transformed into energy of radiation, at first rising up to the upper reaches of the Earth's atmosphere, then returning, transformed into the primordial form of all matter. After further transformation processes, the whole gigantic mass fell to earth again in what appeared to be an unending downpour of water, mud, and sand. The waters of the ocean rolled over the gigantic cleavage in the body of the earth. The land masses of the other hemisphere, split asunder by the cataclysmic shakeup, moved farther and farther apart in order to restore equilibrium throughout the earth, until they finally occupied their present positions. Part of the destroyed continent now lies in our country as a mighty desert of sand, and there is a danger that winds may carry abroad these mountains of sand and cover up fertile inhabited areas. The sons of God in their ships had special instruments and equipment to stabilize their vessels and keep them horizontal at all times. Thus, they survived the catastrophes and finally landed. In every part of the earth where they set foot, they began a new civilization. With their knowledge, their wisdom, and their love, they won the hearts of the natives. They became rulers. They were worshipped, revered as gods or demigods. Their first acts were to construct suitable buildings for their secret instruments in order to insulate them completely from the world outside and provide adequate protection against the powerful, penetrating energy stored up in their instruments. These buildings, which we call pyramids, can now be seen in all the various parts of the earth where the sons of God fled with the instruments they salvaged. Profoundly impressed, I listened to the story of these tremendous events. It cleared up many things I had not understood before, but not everything. How did the sons of God bring these mighty blocks of stone and set them in place, one upon the other? I asked. Do you remember, my child, the Pharaoh replied, that I told you the sons of God did not need to work with physical force because they caused the forces of nature to work for them. We still possess some of these instruments with which we can control the gravitational force of the earth at will, neutralizing it or amplifying it, depending on the result we wish to achieve. In this way, we can make an object weightless or, inversely, even heavier than it normally is. When a huge block of stone has been made weightless in this way, even a child could push it about with his little finger or raise it to any desired height. Ships were piled high with these gigantic blocks of stone without being overloaded, because the blocks had been subjected in advance to the proper form of radiation and so made weightless. All the gigantic edifices, here and in other parts of the world, which human power would never have been able to build, were erected by God in this way. Wherever the sons of God disembarked from their ships, they created a high civilization. Wherever they are still ruling, they are leading the people in unselfish love and making a sacrifice for their benefit, the sacrifice of remaining here on earth for a time in order to teach them and propagate spiritual powers. There was once a time when the ruler, the Pharaoh, was simultaneously the high priest. In one and the same person, he was the earthly and spiritual leader of the people. Later, however, as the country grew greater through culture and wealth, the sons of God divided up the tasks, and ever since then, one of them has fulfilled the duties of worldly government, while the eldest, the leader of the race, has been the spiritual leader of the people. The Pharaoh rules the country. The high priest fulfills his duties in the temple. He is the guardian of knowledge in every field. Since all knowledge comes from a single source, it is he who gives the initiation into the sciences, into the arts, and also the great initiation in the temple into the artless art of the Spirit. Now, you know why the people we are ruling and teaching have differently shaped heads from those of the descendants of the sons of God, who are now the reigning family. Those of us who have this elongated skull make relatively little use of our intellects because we are able to experience truth directly with our inner sight. Our forehead is not heavily arched because in our heads, the brain centers having to do with the power of thinking are only developed to the point necessary for us to perceive and consciously experience in external impressions. On the contrary, in the rear part of our cranium, we possess fully developed brain centers, the physical instruments of spiritual revelation. These brain centers enable us to be conscious on the divine plane and give us those superior qualities and characteristics which distinguish us from the sons of men. Human beings, in their consciousness, live in time and space. We, although we too inhabit earthly bodies, enjoy the perfect spiritual freedom, in freedom from time and space. Through the power of the divine consciousness and with the help of these brain centers, we are able to move freely in time and space. This means that we are able to shift our consciousness into the past or into the future at will. In other words, we are able to experience the past and the future as present. And with the same ease, we can free ourselves from the hindrance of space and move our consciousness to any place we wish. In this condition, there is no here and no there, but only omnipresence. For past and future, here and there, are only different aspects, different projections of the one and only reality, the eternal, omnipresent being, what we call God. The blood of both races is flowing in your veins. You inherited characteristics of our race, but also of the hybrid race from your mother's side. In you, the higher organs are beginning to function. Unfortunately, much too early for you to have had time for earthly experiences, or for you to have conquered your partially earthly nature. You are unsatisfied because you feel imprisoned in time and space, caught between here and there. The spirit within you is beginning to awaken and long for its divine freedom. You have asked 3 times to be initiated, and you will be. Then you will learn to make conscious use of all the higher organs which are not yet fully active within yourself. You will also acquire the ability to establish contact at any time with similar beings in order to be able to exchange thoughts with them. I am thus able to establish spiritual contact at any time with my brother Ptah-hotep or with any of the other descendants of the race of the sons of God still living on earth. Through the complete union of our consciousnesses, we are able to exchange our thoughts on any given subject much better than if we were talking together on the earthly plane with the help of larynx, tongue, and ears. With our consciousness, we can seek each other out at any time, but we feel immediately if the other is occupied and concentrating on something else. In such a case, we disturb each other only if we have something very important to communicate. Otherwise, we withdraw. But you can easily understand why only persons who have achieved perfect unselfishness can have such abilities. If self-centered sons of men also had them, they would create such chaos that all the finer, higher organs would be ruined in the general confusion. For the most part, we meet through uniting our consciousnesses in this way in the evening after our daily duties are done. And in this union, we see each other's thoughts. Thus, in a matter of moments, we are able to agree on things which would take long discussion in the three-dimensional world. After we have thought over our worldly tasks, we shift over with our consciousness into the dimensionless state of all consciousness in order to draw new vital energy from the eternal, divine, original source. In this condition, we are one with all living creatures, with the eternal universe, identical with it in the divine primordial union, one with life itself, with the eternal being, hence with the essence of every manifestation, with you too, and with all other people. Only these beings who with their consciousness are still living in 3 dimensions are not aware of this union. On the other hand, every creature awakens from sleep with renewed vital energy, whether or not it knows that this energy comes from the divine original source. And so you are going to be initiated, daughter. This means you are starting on a long, long journey. You will have to travel this path on earth even after Ta-Hotep and I have left the 3-dimensional world and only remain in spirit in the sphere of the earth. I have different tasks from Ta-Hotep. Your spiritual and intellectual guidance is in his hands. In the eternal union, however, we will always be together. It would have been better if you had had more patience. But you are as you are, and the way you are will also determine your fate and your future. We cannot interfere. The power which comes from union will always accompany you and help you through the most difficult time. Since you have the duty of representing the wife of the Pharaoh beside me, you will not be able to dwell in the temple as other neophytes do during the period of preparation for initiation. You will go there every morning for instruction. During the day, you will do your exercises there with the other neophytes, and when evening comes, you will return to the palace. At palace ceremonies, you will come in time to fulfill your duties at my side, so you can report to Ta-Hotep tomorrow morning. But I still have a question, and so remain standing. Father looks at me quizzically. Father, I ask, you have told me that the sons of God, in order to propagate their spiritual powers, took wives from among the daughters of men. Didn't the daughters of the sons of God also take husbands from among the sons of men? Why have only the sons of God begotten children with the daughters of men, and not the daughters of God too with the sons of men? Father looks deep into my eyes and says, engrave this answer of mine upon the tablets of your memory. If you understand this truth really well, we may perhaps be able to set the rudder of your fate on a different course. If you pour out a drop from a glass of red wine into a glass of white wine, the red wine in the glass remains pure red as it was before. The white wine is no longer pure white wine, but a mixture of both. And if you then pour out some of the white wine, what you pour out is actually a mixture of red and white wine. Do you understand, my child? Yes, Father, I understand. You mean that the blood of a pure-bred son of God still remains pure if he begets children with a daughter of the sons of men. But the blood of a purebred daughter of God would become mixed blood if she were to marry one of the sons of men. From then on, she would be mixed, and so would her children. Remember this truth every moment of your life, says Father. Then he arises. I bow before him, and he blesses me. Preserving the unity of the soul in my heart, I leave the room. That's the end of the chapter.
So there is a lot into it, eh?
There's a ton there. There really is a lot
Amazing.
there
Mind blowing.
to think about. It is mind blowing, yeah. You know, as with channeled information, the pronouncements of seers and prophets, you know, it's it's up to us to decide what to do with these things, I think.
Yes.
And you know, how to take it and to contemplate on it. Anyway.
Yes.
I just wanted to say a lot of what you read is in the Emerald Tablets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
It's in fact
That's
in
why I
a lot
wanted
of
to
different
bring it.
places. It's everywhere.
It's
is
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You're muted.
we
can't
don't hear you.
Okay. I'm still
Use your
getting used to the
word.
Hold
part.
up a sign.
I don't know if y'all can see, but I'm losing my mind over here. I'm like
Beautiful.
writing all kind of notes. I'm flipping out, running out of paper. Like it's literally everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Everywhere.
It is.
You took in that chapter and you explained things that they found all over this world in scripture, in text, on stone, in religion, in quantum physics, today, science, and you
Right.
wrapped it all up in a bowl of things that they talk about space. And no one
And giants.
have,
The
Yes.
giants.
you know what? Stop it.
Giants.
Stop it.
You know, despite what certain trolls might say, there
So
is
that's I wanted to
physical,
have that
scientific evidence for this stuff.
I'm
That
like,
was the most important
Atlantis,
chapter.
Yeah.
material, spirituality, the floods, and Noah. Like example, I'm just gonna do Noah. I'm just gonna touch Noah, and I'm gonna shut
The
up. For a minute.
God
Like
children
I'm
and
losing
the
my mind
David
over here.
Taylors.
It blows me away. And so the thing is, I want to try to address something real quick, just for a moment. So people believe what they want to believe. I get that. Everybody's got their own belief. But when someone writes in a text from thousands of years ago, things that nobody 100 years ago even knew, and we're just rediscovering now, you from every continent on this freaking planet, at some point in time, you have to pause and say, I missed something. I get people hate religion. I get people hate dogma. I get people get lost. But you gotta have the ability to critical think your way through all the lies that they pile on top of each other. So I just want to hit the flood for 1 second. Jonathan, you just hit so much in there. I'm gonna talk about the flood just for a second. I'm sure y'all do y'all thing. We go back to something else. It mentioned the flood, right? Yeah. So you're talking about Noah. You're talking about Gilgamesh. You're talking about who is the brother? Huh?
Atlantis.
Atlantis.
You're talking about the Mayans, talking about Atlan, the land that their ancestors came from. You're talking about building an ark. You're talking about not Graham Hancock. Who is the brother that gets down with Graham all the time?
Randall Carlson.
Randall Carlson, right? Explaining that the planet has gone through various massive floods. You know, you're answering the thing like, as a kid, I was like, global flood? This is crazy. You can't get all the damn animals on a boat. Y'all crazy as hell.
And geological evidence supports it.
The geological evidence supports it. The science supports it. And common sense that, well, no, they didn't put every damn animal on the planet on a boat made of wood, 4 cubits, something else. That's a guy who saw an old text who wrote some things he thought and maybe translated badly, but that they got out of that region, right? And so they sent boats from all directions out of the region. And so it's just, it's wrapping together the things that, all right, I'm gonna shut up.
It's a summary.
Keep going.
It's a summary.
But the thing is, it's answering things. And so when you get, like, you know what that is to me? It's like a puzzle piece of things that didn't make sense for the past couple hundred years. And you're putting that piece right in the middle. And it's like, oh, I can now see more of the big picture. And that's how I see that on the flood. I'm not Sean to say something.
Well, just real quick, I mean, this kind of it's not on the flood topic, but a lot of these older texts too mention, well, some mention 9 planetary bodies. Other call it like 9 bodies of God or 9 gods, and it's like, so this was, you say this was written 2,000 years ago, but you're going to tell me that you just discovered a tomb in the 1800s. Like, how does that even make sense? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you're confirming this is 3,000 years old, and they definitely mentioned 9 planetary bodies, but we didn't discover all these planets till recently. Like,
Yeah.
I just think that's crazy.
Yeah. But this is remembering. Yeah, it's the women who remembers her life in Egypt. It's and she writes it down how it exactly is because she sees it exactly. And there is another book about Atlantis. Another lady. I will maybe bring that book next week. And she remembers her lives on Atlantis as also becoming a priest.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's amazing. Just all this. Yeah. But see, that's all together, and yeah, I mean,
There are numerous people from actually different four corners of the world that have claimed and even wrote about sometimes their past experiences in Egypt, in the Mayan civilization, in the Toltec civilization, in Atlantis, in Lemuria, and these literatures are out there. They've been dismissed for years.
But it also says like they will be reborn again.
Yes.
So that's now the time. That's why they awaken that knowledge. But I think the writer of this book, I think she doesn't live anymore. She was from the beginning, 1900, I think.
Let me get the date here.
Yeah, because she doesn't live anymore because she was I think or the end of 1800.
This was published in 1965.
1965, but
1965. Yeah. So she was still around then. The other I was reading, the Illumin ones, which I shared with the four of you before we went live, by Grace Cook. She was a seer in England who, this book is about 2 of her past lives. One among the Maya, and as an initiate, as a trainee in the what is called the White Brotherhood, and where she's learning, unselfish love and spiritual practices and meditation. And then the second half of the book covers her life as a priestess, as a servant in Egypt, and 2 entire complete past lives. So her other book is called The Light in Britain. And in that book, she discusses Stonehenge, Avebury, Salisbury Hill, the other ancient Neolithic monuments, structures in Britain, and discusses their use during the last golden age. So that's a hell of a book, really hell of a book. And when you've got all of these things here, unconnected by people popping up here in different times, cultures, in different places, and they're saying the same thing.
Yes, it's not a myth. It's because I hear in the comments I see power of the myth, of it's just a belief, but it is not a belief. It is just it happened.
There is evidence for it. There's
evidence.
So literary,
there's nothing mythical
historic,
about it.
Geologic, scientific evidence for this stuff.
Yeah, it is evidence. It's not a myth. It's not just a story we like to believe. It is just a fact and 100% truth.
Right.
I mean, for me, it was
a lie fiction. It doesn't last. I mean, you have to have some root truth to a story for it to last that long.
Yes.
The truth always comes out in the end, doesn't it? Truth always comes out in the end.
Right.
Mother Earth destroys all lies after, and only the things that keeps coming up after thousands and thousands of years, it's always related to the truth. Otherwise, Mother Earth destroys it. It's also in the book. It destroys everything what is not truth after a while. I mean, we have different kind of knowledges, but through the ages, a lot of knowledge disappears, which is false. But the real knowledge is always revealed. The truth will be revealed.
A quote from the Tao Te Ching: "What is not the Tao will soon cease to be.
Yes.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
And that's where we are now. Those lies that
Mm-hmm.
are they're dying. Truth is defeating it, and that's the struggle we're in right now.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and it's not always, let's say it's symbolic, but this is not symbolic. It's just
It's
is.
real.
It is
Yeah.
consciousness is not symbolic. It is
Yeah.
consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
so
And
it was so exciting for me, and it's amazing. So
And
it's
you know
so
what?
yeah.
Because this is like my synchronicity obsession, but because you were saying how, like, it's more of like we're talking about the off grid, and you said like you attract the same consciousness, right? And last night in the when I was reading the Emerald Tablets, Thoth was saying when the world shared a single consciousness that was similar to his, that's when things were the golden age of the planet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it actually brings out positive energy from the inside. He calls it fire of the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It
earth,
is.
from the inside of the fire that area.
Yeah.
And that's like the Kundalini.
Yeah, it's a Kundalini. That the different names, it doesn't matter. He speaks also. It's in the spine. The energy is in the spine. We in India calls it the Kundalini. In Egypt, they have all different names in
Fire.
every continent. But it's wonderful, and we were not yet ready to grasp all that knowledge, because they also say if you're still too much in those negative characteristics, and you in the matter, and you get indulged in all this kind of material things, your nervous system cannot hold the divine truth totally, and you will break. I mean, you will die. So if you're not ready for the consciousness, if you want, you can try to steal it, but you will die. It's only people who are ready for it, they will gain it. And they can bring, And that's very important, because even now, in all these different kinds of people with New Age, sometimes it's very super superficial. It's like, oh, it's nice, fluffy talk, but it's you can crush it down immediately, because this awareness, this consciousness, is so deep. It requires extremely a high unselfish human being we have to become.
Yeah.
Totally.
When we are sick of the sickness, then we're ready. Then the wisdom will present itself to us, whether it's in the form of a teacher, or in the form of a book, or in the form of a secret school that we go to, whatever it is. When we are ready, the universe is like, yeah, finally. Okay, here it is. There you go.
Yeah, because it wants
exactly.
It whatever it is, whatever the mind is, the connection is, it wants us to get it.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is the secret. That's the path of the seeker. And how higher, I mean, how deeper we go, how more and deeper the consciousness will come into us. But we have to be ready for it. It's not like you said, I don't throw pearls for swines. No.
Yeah.
Never do that.
Yeah.
It's
well, it doesn't give us anything that we're not ready for.
Yeah.
If we're up against something.
I wasn't ready for a lot of crap.
Yeah.
I just buckled up.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, okay.
No comment. You're no, I won't say it. You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Yes, Susan. It's so fine.
I keep freezing.
Cold there?
Okay. No, I mean, like, my screen keeps freezing.
Oh, okay.
Does it?
Yeah.
Once
in a while it does. Once in a while, but it does. Okay, we're good. You're good.
Okay.
Where'd Gerard go? Where did he
go?
Did
He's
you like making a smoothie or?
he's overexcited. He has to run. He has to run around his property.
Right.
Oh, it's so exciting! So exciting! So exciting! And then he has to come down. He comes back. Okay. So no, I find it so yeah, really like the core of all the knowledges. And then in
Yeah.
that chapter, it came. It said we have to read that. Then it's a good start.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, another thing is that
He
we
summoned him.
there he is. We manifested Gerard back again. We pulled him
Yes.
right back in.
Yeah, we have our powers already.
Another thing is you know, we go off and you know, we do our solitary work on ourselves.
Yes.
You know, and we learn lessons, and we interact with other people, and perhaps some of those people are in our lives, you know, because they're working out things that you know, in terms of karmic relationships and things like
Yes.
that. And then
And yeah,
when
it's
you come to a
always
certain point, isn't it magical how all of us from completely different places all over the globe somehow managed to connect with, you know, via this technology?
Matrix.
It's completely Aquarian.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
utterly Aquarian what we're doing here. You know, it's amazing, and it's the universe is like saying, okay, each of you are ready. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. That's the good use of all this Aquarius, the positive way.
The
But
positive.
it's not a myth.
Yes.
So I see it again. This is not a myth. So why are you people saying it's a myth? I don't understand.
Yeah,
This
we
is
were
not-
all brought
ooh, ooh,
together to figure out the pyramids.
Ah,
Can we?
the power. Okay, yes. People, yes, yeah.
Can
it's
we
true.
please?
Yeah, it has
Work
become a
together.
myth in the with a not awakened one, but yeah, no, yes,
being
okay, I
patient.
get it now, Tony.
I'm being
Yeah.
paid. Where was Gerard? Gerard is at slavery. Gerard had to go
Uh-oh.
pick a bale of cotton. However, Gerard took his phone and he's got 2 pads of notes now. I'm losing my damn mind. I'm losing my mind. No, I was not. I was liking comments and pinning them and stuff like.
Right.
No, I'm still here. I'm losing my damn mind. This is the most important live. Might be one of the best live streams I've ever done. Not done. Off the charts, people. So why do people call it myth? Because people watch television. That's why. I love people to death. But if you don't see how all this is linking together, who said this? Brother Tony said it, right? The power of myth is pretty amazing. How it ties all the truth together, and so it's still a myth, right? Think about what is being said when you listen to this. If it is tying together the truth of various continents, religions, archaeology, science, spirituality, there's something there. That doesn't mean it's myth. It means you missed out a lot. So blowing my mind. The cone heads, damn it, losing my mind. What do they call the cone heads again? I know it's wrong, it's racist and everything. They had the big head, right?
Yeah.
And like, so he said, oh, well, people like to strap boards to their head to make the head go long because they like long
Yeah.
heads. And it's just like,
Gerard,
shut
when you,
up, listen.
when you say coneheads, I think of Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin. So you know.
Well, what do they call it? Susan, help me out, damn it. What do they call it? Not called cone heads. What do they call it?
I don't know.
The elongated heads. The elongated heads.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
Right. And so it's like, oh, just for nothing, they wanted to strap some boards
Yeah,
to
that's
people's
how it
heads
was
to
a
make
beauty
their heads
thing.
big. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, slow down. Think
Yeah.
about neurology, right?
Yeah.
So if the gods were here, how they explained, and they had larger craniums in a certain section of their cranium, we know neuroscience is the different sections of the brain are used for different things, and that's why it's elongated in the back for a reason, which is powerful what you said. And so why would they do that? Well, obviously because the gods had heads like that. That
A
was
simple
that higher
mathematical
species.
equation will blow away the official science on that, because we're talking about mass and volume here.
Yeah, and
Right.
it brings
Those,
like,
Neurons.
those skulls are, you know, are such and such a volume, and that's a mathematical number, and you can't get that skull from doing the what you're just describing. You can't
And
do it.
so it's just like, so the head and the space is back here is big and stuff. And so neurons, math, volume. So the more space you have, the more neurons you have. The more neurons, the more dendritic connections. The more you have, the higher thoughts that you have, the smarter you are. And so why would, so I'm losing my
But
mind a little bit,
developed,
people.
those brains
So,
are developed. I think,
Yes.
is it not still that we only have developed 10% of our brains, or even less?
We
So
only
they develop
actively
all
use
their brain.
10%.
Yeah.
We only actively use 10%. So 90% we
Yeah,
don't.
if that is used, then probably we get that kind of head too, because it
Yeah.
has to develop. I would think so. That's my logic now. If we use all the brain like it's meant to use with all the consciousness, we must get that kind of head too. I suppose. I don't know. What do you
But
think?
Jonathan also, in that whatever the initiation he was just reading, also said about like the gods, and they basically said they had, the gods had sex with mortal women, so through the DNA over generations it would recreate, people that could connect to the spirit world. Didn't it say that?
Yes, it did. Yeah,
Right.
let me,
yes, boom.
But the Ty, remember Ty's video
it.
about there's definitely that DNA split connection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm hyperventilating. I'm gonna need a bag.
I know I'm
I'm
getting
gonna need a
hot.
bag.
I gotta
I'm
open this
losing it.
window.
So he jumped on the spirituality part, and he was explaining how, right, so you won't have connection with these things because there are, if I wrote it down right, organs that won't be reactivated later, right? And those organs, once they're reactivated, it establishes spiritual contact with other beings that they could, that we can't. And this is why we do this low vibe. It's all myth, it's bullshit, we don't know nothing, we're not spiritual, and so later in time we would be able to make that connection. Didn't somebody named Yeshua Christ, not Christ Henderson, said the greater things I have done you will do? That you have an omnipotent connection to your father, your God, which is probably still a mother. It has a connection to you that you don't have to it, because you eat glyphosate, you eat sugar pops and snap pops and Fruit Loops and all of the stuff that gives you the cuckoo virus. So, all right, go to the next one, because I got a whole bunch of them. Don't let we can do.
Yeah, but Jesus was a godlike man. Jesus was a godlike man. He was a son of. He belonged to the race of the son of gods.
He even said that. He said that God was gonna come in the body of a monkey, but it wasn't a monkey, it was a God. He even mentioned Jesus in it.
Yes,
this
is what everybody believes.
At the time,
and Muhammad.
There were still secret societies and initiation cults. We would call them cults today, but the different schools that existed all over the Mediterranean world at that time still existed. So, and we don't know. We do not know because of the Vatican control that went into place in the 300 ADs. We don't know what happened.
We don't know. And they still are hiding things.
They did.
And what Rebecca said, the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
The lie will get you your vaccination. The truth will set you free. The lie will keep you in the face diaper on lockdown doing dumb stuff, worshiping kings and lords and leaders as your gods, money as your god, all this stuff. The truth will set you free. You are a spiritual creature having a human experience. We are all experiencing the mind of God.
Yeah.
We are within the mind of God. Everything is a thought of God. And these are the things that religion struggled to explain, because the scriptures they chose were cut up, chopped, cultural reappropriated, changed names to make it fit the narrative of what the king wanted to do. As in America, for a good example, we got to go blow up other nations and steal what they got and take their land and put them on with the IMF and central banking. And the only way to get Christians to go along with that is you got to convince them that, hey, sometimes you got to thou shalt kill. Sometimes you got to thou shalt steal. Sometimes you got to thou shalt covet. And so the kings, it's not a new thing, is my point. My point, the kings and lords have been doing this since the beginning of time. They've been destroying your truth to get you to engage in deep, low vibe, dark energy activity. And this is where you get the political parties from.
Yeah.
But now we are raising again out of the matter to that divine consciousness. So that's our evolution. We should go totally back, like the totally in union with that divine consciousness. That's our goal as humankind, to go back.
He talked about the pyramids and how to build the pyramids, floating rocks, right?
Yeah.
Taking rocks,
Yes.
changing them. The Mayans talked about this, and this is why I'm losing my mind because I've been studying this stuff for a long time. The Mayans or the Aztecs, I forgot which one, talking about taking a certain plant and rubbing the plant on. It was a mixture to change the composition of the rock, right?
Right.
And so I think in that term, it didn't make it lighter, it made it liquid or something like that. But the idea that you could, or it made it float, I had no damn idea. I'm losing my mind a little bit because you're talking about alchemy. You're talking about stories of, how did you build these massive temples and pyramids all over the planet? And he said, we levitated. In Egypt, they found the tuning forks, right? They say that they found these tuning forks all over Egypt. They didn't know what they were used for, so they stick them in the back of museums. It's like, we don't even know what that is. It's a decorative piece, but that when you hit it, it made a certain chime. And that chime perhaps changing the composition of the rock, allowing it to float. Britain went to Tibet. The monks sat there, and the rocks floated. They got it on tape. They took it back to Britain. They deleted it, hid the tapes, or covered them up. And so, and then there was the other structure in, I would say, Thailand.
Yeah, there's a German scientist from the 40s who went to, I want to say, Tibet and and he reported or recorded down that he watched them meditate and sound move large objects and rocks and stuff.
And we do that today. It's not crazy. We shatter glass with sound, and we are levitating things with frequency. We do that now.
Yep.
These are ancient things that we...
Free energy.
Yes.
Free energy.
Yes.
Well, right. And so none of it's crazy. And so the point is, in the 1960s and back thousands of years, how did they know these things if it's bullshizzle, right? It's not bullshizzle. We're stupid shizzle. That's what we are. Once again, we are not in a pandemic. We're in an ignorance demic. And it's generation after generation. And I kind of like the idea of, I was talking about the multiple, species. One ascended, they established that spiritual connection. There's no reason for us to stay on Earth and fight with the monkeys over the bananas and currencies and all the dumb stuff and the wars that they do. And they left. And so we're here, right?
Yeah.
And what are we doing with the apes? We have the apes in cages. We're teaching them how to take the round peg, put it in the hole, communicate it, how to draw, how to paint. They got an elephant doing Picasso painting, right? We are teaching the other species how to slowly come up. And then eventually the monkey's going to be like driving some cars. And by the time they're doing that, the Americans might actually have moved forward and we're going to leave. We're not going to stay here. We're going to make room for the next species to evolve. And I'm starting to see like this picture, which is making a whole lot of sense. But then also the pyramids, right? So Atlantis broke apart. Everybody left, said, got to get out of Dodge. They took their equipment and they went to different places. And he talked about how we built these massive stone structures and pyramids or buildings to hide the equipment. Isn't that what Thoth talked about in the Emerald Tablets? He put the spaceship underneath the Sphinx or the pyramid, whatever. This is why the CIA has an office over there. People can't go over there. You got that dude over there, his line blew out his face, stealing artifacts.
In Antarctica?
What's the name?
Zahi Hawass.
Zahi Hawass hiding everything, lying about the underground cities all under Egypt, where the Giza Plateau, where people live there, say they've been playing since they were kids. And now he's like, oh, ain't nothing down there. It's just some rocks, some dirt, some dust. Ain't nobody down there. It's water. But there are cities all under the Giza Plateau, right? And so if they built these structures on top of the equipment, it makes sense. The Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid makes no damn sense. We all theorize, it was a water machine, it was a pump, it was an energy.
It makes so much sense.
There's something underneath the pyramid, people. It's a big pile of rocks. They said, damn it, you can't let the monkeys get to it. They're still fighting over wars and oil. And, after in the future, they'll get to it after the pandemic, the cuckoo virus kill everybody because they got cardiovascular disease. They don't know how to eat natural food. But eventually, they're going to evolve. And when they do, they can move all these damn rocks out the way. and find the temple within and what's underneath that. If
The
I
tools.
left a spaceship on Earth, ain't no damn way I'm letting Myletta Sanders, Paul Brady, Melissa Oso, or Courtney get to it until they evolve. And the best way to do that is you get big, heavy rocks, because everybody know monkeys without transcendence and know-how can lift some damn rocks. Makes sense.
Yeah, and I
Big
think
pile of
also
rocks.
what I'm now thinking is the people in Antarctica, from Colonel Byrd of Colonel Byrd, Admiral Byrd. I think they must be maybe left over from the godlike civilization. I don't know. The civilization under Antarctica, in Middle Earth. We talked long time ago about it.
Yeah.
Don't
They
you
might
do
just.
that to me. You bring Hollow
Yeah.
Earth in here. Think I'm
And-
losing my mind already.
And the emerald tablets, because I try to reread them before this, and I love when you don't read something for a long time, because then when you reread it again, you're like, holy shit, this is amazing. It's like a whole different story. But so he talks about going into the halls of Amenti within the earth.
Yeah.
And the pyramids, he said that he left his secrets to his alchemists in the pyramids, like he encoded it in the pyramids, and that
Yes.
if the shafts went into the earth to reach Earth's fire, to bring it out to the earth, so everybody could be on this higher level. And he talks about tapping into ether, and that's what Tesla wanted to do.
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla.
Yes,
That's
that's
what
why
Tesla
probably.
did.
Yeah.
That's what
and
Tesla
Tesla-
did.
But
Figured it out.
I'm quite sure Tesla is a god from that
Yeah.
race, maybe reborn, and before its time, but he was not understood, and he had suffered a lot, but his consciousness was all the time extremely high. If you read Tesla,
Tesla is one of
extremely-
the few that figured out a few secrets. He
Yeah.
figured out a lot of secrets. Wilhelm Reich is another one.
Yeah.
He discovered ether, and he discovered how
Hello.
to tap into it and use it to heal people. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
they arrested him, they locked him up, and he died in jail. And they confiscated all of his writings. Sound familiar? Yeah.
Yeah.
CIA,
That shit
FBI
for
ever?
2,000 years.
Vatican.
And probably longer. Yeah.
Hello.
Vatican.
I'm at church.
In the Vatican
I don't know
Library.
if y'all can we start singing I'm at church. I need a Negro spiritual because I'm losing my damn mind. I don't even know what to
We're
do.
gonna
'cause-
discover what the pyramids are for.
Shoot, don't even get me started on the aliens and stuff. It's just like, you know what? We
I like
all
dreams.
believed a lie. Come on down to the altar, growing the hell up. We've all worshipped and believed a lie our entire lives. And to me, this all goes back to the Adam and Eve story. What is it? The Adam and Eve declassified document. And I would guarantee you the reason why that is the most redacted document in the history of the human race, 80% of it, you silly monkeys can't even read. The CIA said you damn monkeys can't read 80% of what's in this document. That document goes into the connections that Judaism, Islam, and Christianity have from the pyramids that where they had the ancient text from Buddhism and Hinduism back in ancient India, in where that fool Moses and Aaron got together and they was drinking that sauce and smoking that tweed or something. They got bad translations from the Sanskrit text from the Naga gods who were guarding serpent gods, which is where the whole Garden of Eden story came from. They didn't like women at that time in Egypt. They were cattle, and they said we got to figure out who we gonna blame first sin on. Women. Makes sense. Just like we do today in patriarchy. If something break in the house, who did it? It's always your wife. Oh, she broke it. She had to have broke it, right?
Well,
And
part
so
of the black magicians is to disbalance the masculine
And the feminine.
and you get all kinds of toxic behavior, trauma-based programming, all of it.
Yeah,
I'm
but
losing my
there's,
mind.
and I do believe there are
know
some
what-
Bibles who are quite no. There must be some part of the Bibles who are very written through where the feminine is very very important. But I think they're not yet discovered because Mother Mary was so much more. We don't read anything. It's just like the mother, but she was 100%
They deleted
more.
it.
Yeah.
They deleted it. They got rid of it. through all the canons, do you think that men would allow such powerful things to stay in place? No, they back then they still had prima nocta. They were still taking people's wives and screwing them before you married them. So no, you can't accept that women were powerful. You had to remove all those scriptures the same way they removed the book of the Watchers, the book of Thomas, the book of all the Gnostic texts, all the things that told you that you don't need to take your silly butt to church to be in contact with your God. That you have what he said, the Wi-Fi.
And
that you have organs
fact,
like the pineal gland, where you'll have spiritual connections if you stop eating the damn Twinkies for breakfast.
The fact that Gerard, those Gnostic texts that were dug up and rediscovered in 1945 at Nag Hammadi is enough proof for me that Spirit said, "Okay, you're ready. Here you go. Here's all this lost knowledge and wisdom. Here you go. Have fun."
Jonathan,
we got it all back.
It
undermined the Vatican and all of their schemes for 2,000 years.
No, it's myth. You know why? Because my 4th grade teacher told me it's all a myth. The Greek gods ain't real. The Egyptians, slaves built the pyramid. Ain't none of it true. Because I still got her name. It's Miss Smith, my 4th grade teacher. Don't make me tag her. I tag her.
I'll tag her.
I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind, people. It's just it's all coming together. It's all we are definitely coming to an age, and it's not a new
the golden age.
The golden age.
We didn't get yet to the chapter of gold. That's another story.
Right.
Ooh, see, and this is why this is going to have to be
save something for next week.
This is why it's going to have to be a series, because when you really start they touched astral projection. What was the CIA doing? What the dude from last week, the guy was got together with the military and the police. We solving cases. The dead lady, we know she's at, drove the car. The people who astral project and see things that nobody else sees. That we know the military in the United States, a corporation that ain't got no damn sense. In the United States, a corporation of Russia, kill everybody too. They were using people who astral projected.
Yeah.
How did they know this back then? Because we crazy as hell right now. That's why.
Military industrial complex has been used in remote viewing for decades. Decades.
What was the book, Christine, with a guy that in the Sanskrit Mahabharata, when somebody grabbed Boo Boo and Tink Tink and took him into space?
I think, Gerard, you purposely mispronounce that name every time.
The Hermetica broke me, y'all. It broke me. I don't even know what to do right now. I'm losing my damn mind. It broke me. I should have read the Hermetica a long time ago because it's connecting everything together. But they grabbed Boo Boo and Tink Tink the same way they got Ezekiel. Took him into space. Flew around. So we went to some planets, hung out, drunk some Mai ties and the fine blue windows with the 3 breastises. We had a whole lot of fun. We came back to Earth and everybody was dead. It was 100 years later. Everybody was gone, and he wrote it down. And how do you know that was true? Because he wrote down, the weird thing is, I didn't age. Everybody else aged. And you know what that is? NASA just figured that out 50 years ago. It's called time dilation. The further you get from Earth, the slower your body clock slows down. How did somebody know that 5,000 years ago if they didn't go to the daggone moon and fly around the daggone galaxy with Boo Boo in them and the green aliens and the Aryans and the Pleiadians? Because it's all true. And your CIA, your FBI, and all of them know it. And we crazy as hell for believing these people. We need an open source society right now. No more damn secrets. Y'all stop consenting and voting to these colonized and crazy government keeping you from your God.
I love it when people use the CIA and the FBI as a resource, as a source to contradict what you're saying. Yeah, just laugh.
Yeah, true. You have to laugh with it one.
Yeah, it's.
It's amazing.
It comes out in the end. Is it my time again? Yeah. Don't get me yelling. Did somebody comment?
No, we just do a high five. It's so fun. It's wonderful. It's a high five.
Okay,
I'm losing my truth.
High five.
What's the high?
I'm gonna forget what I have to say.
What's going on?
We are good. We are on topic. All the secrets are just linked the puzzle. That's why I said high five. Everything is getting more
Oh,
clear.
okay.
Oh.
Oh.
No, I was
that
raising
a-
my hand so I could say
Oh, yeah.
something.
Damn it, say you had to jump in because I'm gonna run over everybody tonight. I'm losing my mind.
Jonathan, though.
It's just, and I'm sorry. Let me process it. Y'all know this was only chapter 1.
Yeah.
It was-
There's only one of the chapter. Look.
Right.
Hey, here. Look, the book. It's thick. It's
But-
350 pages. And now we read
And I-
how many pages? 5?
One chapter.
Yeah,
Five
about
chapters.
5 or 6 pages from it.
5
Yeah.
or 6 pages.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's
I'm gonna be
amazing.
eating mushrooms soon. I'm psychedelic mushroom cannabis crack. I'm gonna be doing all of that here in a
teacher
minute.
in me
'cause I'm
wants
losing
to
my-
like, okay, okay, your hand was next. Your hand.
I'm
Susan,
trying to
go
read the
ahead.
comments, Jonathan. I'm trying to read them, and I can't even read. I don't even see the eggplant comments. No, but they're talking eggplants and others. I don't even see that no more. It's like sex. Oh, who wants sex? That's stupid. You know, we talking about the flying through the universe with some gods and aliens and connecting the religion together back to the root religion. They over there talking about vagina. Shut up. Nobody care about no daggone coochie right now. We got important stuff we getting in, people. I'm losing.
True.
Listen, it take a mean truth to make a man not give two damns about all of that booty stuff.
Yeah.
Don't
This
be
is
Yeah,
off
but
the
it's-
charts, people.
That's the higher
sex, Gerard,
consciousness.
because that's like the first step on the ladder. So don't be distant.
Look, right now. I don't even care. I get somebody knock on that door right now. Gerard! Now you need to stay your butt out there. I got something. Listen, we on some truth right here. We talking astral projection and the flood and Noah, Atlanteans, the Coneheads, and we're linking it all together. Oh no, this is better than nope, not right now, Jonathan.
I can
See,
only
it's okay
imagine
for
how
you.
much Courtney is lighting it up in the comments right
I don't
now.
even care. Courtney could talk about anything.
Courtney's
I'm skipping
gonna
every.
warn
I'm skipping all her comments. Nope. I didn't even look. I
Okay,
said
warn.
eggplant, some corn. I don't care nothing about that. Right now, it's about the truth. The
This
truth.
is wonderful. Yes, Susan.
That's
Susan,
why-
Let her
go.
talk. Let her talk.
I'm gonna put myself on mute. Hold on. I'm putting myself on mute. I'm muting myself. I have to hold myself back. I'm mute. Here we go.
No, you're nobody. Oh, okay. But I keep freezing. I keep freezing. Okay. Wait, because he needs to pay attention because it correlates to what he said. Okay, but he was talking about like I never read it. The Brahata.
The Mahabharata. The
Okay.
Mahabharata.
Yeah,
Let's throw a
and
bunch
going
of T's in there. Ra-ta-ta.
and go into space or whatever. But I'm going to go further than that and say that you don't even have to physically go there.
No, no.
That you can
You're right.
go to all those
You're
other
right.
The
planets and all
CIA
those
got
stars
you.
and places without
Yeah.
physically leaving Earth. Because it even says in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, if you go into the pyramid and go into my sarcophagus in order to travel the space and time.
But
to
it's
learn
also
the
said
physics.
we read it. That's
You
true.
froze. I didn't hear what you said. You froze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't
Okay,
need
where
to
did
go
I
in
stop?
space to be in space, she means. And that was also in that book because in that consciousness, you
Right,
sense
you-
everything at once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, he even said that you go into the chambers of the pyramid and into his sarcophagus in order to, I think, channels energy in order to help you space travel
Probably, yeah.
without leaving Earth. And in the Hermetica, it says we're more special than the gods because we get to do that with our minds.
Hmm. If we are ready.
Okay,
If we.
that's all I want.
Yes, yes, Susan. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Okay,
I
am I
think.
here?
I think.
All right.
Huh? You froze a
Yeah.
little bit. Was it just me?
Yeah.
Because
No,
Yeah.
it was,
It
no,
wasn't
you,
just you. She was freezing.
yeah,
Yeah.
she
I'm
freezing. She was freezing.
bad. And I got full bars.
Hmm.
the
That's-
Paracas skulls. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa.
Yeah, that might be it.
Stop. Are we talking about the crystal skulls? Y'all know about the crystal skulls? The skulls that they found all over the planet that
Yes.
H. Hewlett Packard took and did the study on
Smithsonian.
and realized that there was no way that the monkeys back then with the clubs and some rocks and some sticks actually did but that they encode. There's information encoded in there that they can't figure out. The
Yeah,
crystal
probably.
is that the Paracas skulls? Is that one of the crystal skulls?
I don't know if it's the Paracas skulls, but I know what you're talking about.
There's a lot of skulls.
See, all of these things loop together with the Uparks,
Yeah.
right? The crystal skull is an Upark, right? An out of place artifact.
Yeah.
And these are the
But
things
could it-
that we found.
Couldn't it be that the knowledge is encrypted in those skulls?
Hmm.
Well, that's what they said, right? They said something about they created 13 skulls and they put them in different places, and it stored all human knowledge or the history of human knowledge, something like that. I'm not even sure where that story even came from. But if we left, let's say we're leaving, we're about to go, we're about to leave all the low vibing people like, you know, who don't still get along with the monkeys or something, and we evolve them, they start driving cars. Would we just get in spaceships and leave, or we say, no, we're going to have to get a haul of records. We're going to have to somehow take a data chip, a skull or something that the monkeys can't break, something hard, but they know if they find it, they'll worship it. We'll make it of gold or crystal or something, and we'll store it so that they can't access it until they're ready. When they stop eating their children and beating up each other and going to war over oil and dumb stuff, and they stop with the governments and ignorant and trying to control each other and all of these games and bullshizzle, they'll actually be able to tap into who we were, because we'll be gone. We'll be in the Palladian galaxy of Garatza, Max, Zigzag, Zang, Zang, and we're not coming back because y'all got to figure it out, monkeys. And so I think that they left. And eventually we will leave too, and we'll leave something like the Paracas skulls or the crystal skulls or the Hall of Records or the Hall of Amenti, however you call it, and we're gone.
Yeah.
To me, I think planets are evolution engines, and they're constantly creating things in this mind of God, and we leave something, and something else evolves, and then they leave, and maybe we pick what comes next. Because isn't that like a crazy thing that nothing else developed our brains at the time? Like when creatures developed teeth, there were thousands of creatures at the same time developing teeth. When they developed eyes, there were thousands of other species at the same time developing eyes. But we developed a brain that connects together these neurons, and nothing else did that at our time. Like we were selected. Like somebody took our second chromosome and did a little update to allow us, it gave us the right mushrooms or something to let that all connect together, the Stone Age theory type thing, and we move forward. And then as we leave, we may pick who the next is. Take genetic modification, which is what we do now with the CRISPR, and what Bill Gates wants to do, turn most of y'all into some damn zombies so y'all can go work and build stuff for them and don't have no thoughts. And we'll leave something of us in them, almost like a rib from Eve. Is anybody feeling all the connections in the scriptures?
Yeah, but that's what they did. They left the knowledge for us, and that's probably in those skulls. And when we leave, when we evolved, we will probably not come back, because then we go to a higher consciousness, and I think we go to other places in the solar system. And then it's for the other two to evolve. But
the emerald tablets are said to be made of an alchemical material. They're not emerald; they're just green, so they call them the tablets. And it was supposedly made of an alchemical material that they still haven't figured out, although they might have and just haven't told us. And but Thoth says that they are meant to be read in the language of light. So, however we translate that, it's probably the crystal skulls too. It's probably a material that's meant to, whether it's a resonance or even just reading it with a higher, whatever it is, the language of light.
The language of light, I believe that's the it's the language. The consciousness, the higher consciousness. Yeah.
I'm going through comments. I'm kind of.
Call that
Yeah.
Yeah, we are hybrids. We are we are not hybrids, but yeah.
But see now you got me thinking about that Brazilian lady what is her name? Maria de Jesus.
Ah, yeah, Maria the Jesus, yes.
The one that perhaps is some sort of hybrid DNA changed in her, and she reverted back to some earlier DNA expression of maybe what we came from. I don't know. I don't know. There's just so much there.
Get a vaccine?
And it could be that too. It could be Bill Gates could have got started down there. I mean,
Yeah, but she was, yeah.
There's a long pause for that joke.
But it seems to be that for me, she looked like a hybrid from an animal and a human being, because she had like really like those. Yeah, I think it's an experiment. I'm sorry, it might be that she has been an experiment. We don't know. We don't know what experiments they do. NASA, if they like in Atlantis, they did experiments with combinations with humans and animals, and I think they do it now too.
We need to get a Facebook fact check. We need a Facebook fact check. Where was Bill Gates in 1964 when she was born? Where was he? Where was his father? We need to know where his wife, his cousins, and his brothers, sisters. We need to know where everybody associated with Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci were. If they were in Brazil experimenting on people, because they got caught doing it in Africa, all over. People in Africa run from that man. They all over Latin America, they got caught sterilizing women there. Could be. I'm open to all theories. But right now, the Hermetica is making a hell of a lot of good sense to me. I am excited today, Laura. I'm losing my mind. This is crazy to me. This is linking together a lot of stuff that I haven't even looked at in I don't know how long. And it's just like lights are going off everywhere. So I got a headache. I literally have a headache right now that my mind is blown. My mind is blown. And anybody who studies religion, their mind should be a little blown too. Look, Christine's so blown she can't even stay on here. She popped the Wi-Fi.
She just completely dematerialized. She's gone.
She's gone. She can't deal with it. She's like, you know
traveling
what?
the stars.
Christine, she's in the stars. She
evolved.
Yep, she did. It was like, fuck, I'm out of here. Bye, bitches.
Yeah. So what Rebecca's talking about. So
she's ready.
yeah, she's done. Like, I don't need to even. I'm finished. I don't have to say bye. I'm just gonna check out. So like, so simulation creation. So if we are in the mind of God, and all of this is a simulation of creation, and everything is God, everything is conscious, then it makes sense that we do live in a simulation, and it kind of makes sense where you manifest things. Like, you know how you think about something, or you think about a person, they call you or text you, or you get this bad feeling and something happened to a friend of yours. Like all of that, how everything is connected. It was talking about that, quantum entanglement, right? So how do you explain quantum physics being in a book that old?
Quantum physics is a reflection of the book, and the book is a reflection of quantum physics, because they're both a reflection of the one reality, which we are the awareness of. We are that mind, each of us, doing Gerard, doing Jonathan, doing Susan, doing human things, right?
Yeah.
And we are the one mind having an experience. We are Vishnu dreaming of the universe, according to the Hindus. We the universal mind in a simulation, because the universal mind seeks experience, seeks growth, seeks adventure. At least that part of it does. It's and this knowledge is in all the books. It's in all the traditions. It's just clothed in different language.
Yep.
It's said in different way. Parts are let out, but we're all connected. We're all a part of a one.
Yes.
And separation is an illusion. And that's how it makes sense that, you do manifest things, because you tap into things that you don't. And sometimes you manifest negative things, like the whole placebo, nocebo effect, like I go back to. When your doctor says you're healed, magically you get healed. Your doctor says you're going to die in 4 months, you die in 4 months. Christine came back from the Pleiades.
There she is. She's back from the
computer, they started making a noise from And I thought I was gonna crash, it's gonna crash, it's gonna crash. And it's so major, I didn't have to wake up, but it restarted itself. It was so weird. Oh, it's really weird.
Like,
Yeah,
so-
it was.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, now it's good.
Okay, Gerard was saying about the quantum physics, and then you were saying like your experience, what I'm experiencing, what Gerard's experiencing, right? Because I had this up here because there's literally a line that star bound to a body, which that's my thing. I was super cool about that one. But okay, so remember, oh man, that all which exists is only another form of that which exists not. Everything that has being is passing into yet other being, and thou thyself art an exception. That's quantum physics.
Yeah,
Mhm.
wonderful.
Yeah.
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 I'm passing through Christine. Christine's passing through you. We're all vibing.
Right.
Yeah. And
Full
But-
level.
but
Still
it's not-
digesting.
now, is it not when we learn something, we get new knowledge, and it gets spread all over the world? Because what we tell here now, soon so many people will know. It's like the monkey thing. Is a monkey learn something, a trick? Then on the other continent of the earth, they do the same without knowing those monkeys. Is that not a kind of how do you say communicating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it's so much.
I know my
Aborigines,
is hot.
right? I remember how the Aborigines talked about how they could communicate across the continent, and they would say, "Well, how did you know Ubuntu needs to come back because the fire and it's time for dinner?" He says, "I called them." They just sat and they meditated, and they would contact each other. Like they would come together over vast distances for certain meetings and powwows. Why? Because they had a means of contacting each other, and it was very well known back then.
Yes.
that we didn't know how they did it.
Telepathy.
There is a Wi-Fi telepathy,
Mhm.
and we know that that's a thing because who was the brother from the Google band? No, TED Talk. The two band TED Talks, right? Where what John had. I'm about to go to
Yeah, I
play
think-
these with Christine.
Who is it?
You
What was his
mentioned them.
Somebody posted the guy. There were two of them. So it was Graham Hancock. They
Yes.
deleted him.
And Randall Campbell? No.
Was it Randall
No.
Carlson? Did he have
No,
a
the one
band TED
he
Talk?
talks ESP. He talks.
Oh.
He was the one who did the TED Talk. I think I posted it last week. He did the
Oh.
TED Talk on ESP, and he was the
Oh,
one
yeah.
that used it with the military, the police. They have the scientific data. Like it was proven that and he would go and teach people
Yeah.
in the military how to do it.
Yeah.
So
I
there's
forgot the name.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't know how to do these things, but these things are here. There are people who teach astral projection.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know, there are
Yeah.
people who, when they go to sleep, they've got, what is it called? Lucid dreaming, right? There are
Yeah.
people
Yes,
here
yes.
that do that, right? Where they control their dreams and they do things in their dreams and it's weird what they train their brain to do things where they can like solve smoking. They can, modify behaviors. They can teach themselves like the Matrix, karate, kung fu,
Right.
crazy stuff like that. But
That's a kind of yoga. There's yoga through dreaming. It's called Nidra yoga in India. They use that consciousness to evolve. Kind of.
And I don't want to be negative because this is really great, but and that's even with the TV, like because we're so used to TV, but they are literally like I mean they're using it in an evil way, but it's literally like psychological telepathy because besides what they're showing it, you're psychologically picking up way more on, you know what I mean, subconsciously than they're actually showing on TV. Like now I can see it all, like holy crap, I can't believe this is on TV because I can see through all the symbolism and stuff. But for most people, they're like literally being in a spell of telepathy, frequency, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's frequency. There's a higher.
Well, that's not
It
a higher
is-
frequency.
No, that one not. They manipulate. That's a manipulation power. Yeah, they
Yeah.
use it for the wrong things. That's what
Right.
they say. We have to hide our tools, like in the skulls, because the human is not ready to use that knowledge for good, for benevolence of the freeing the humankind. They use it in the wrong way.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say all the secrets are out, Tony. I would say that what is it, the book of Jeremiah talks about there are all these great secrets that won't be revealed to the end of time. And I think we're coming up to the end of the cycle, the end of
yeah,
time. I don't think it was the end of the world. I don't think anyone ever dies. I just think that
the
as
end
we
of this Kali
approach
Yuga.
the end, yeah, the
Yes.
Kali Yuga, that things are being revealed. And at some point in time, which is why I try to take this stuff and apply it to the practical world, we have to say enough is enough. At some point in
Yes,
time, we have to say all of this knowledge is human history. This is
yes,
not CIA history. This is not United States history. It's not Egypt history. It's not Russian history. All of this, it's not Vatican history.
It's
That
human
we
history.
literally have ancestors who did the best they could to document what we needed to know to get past these psychopathic 0.01% making
yes,
5Gs and hiding UFOs and rockets, and everybody's out voting for them because they live in this low vibe world.
yeah,
That we need to go into the new world, and we can't get into the new world
yeah,
unless we have the tools, the
yeah. I think so.
technology of how do you say it? Damn it, what is your name again? Jonathan. How do we? He said there was the
I
material
need them
world.
both on to make me a hello. My name is Jonathan.
We need name tags. We need some name
We need
tags.
name
The
tags.
spiritual world and the material world, right? Like so, and they were more spiritual. And so the thing is, we live
Yeah.
in the material, consumer, low vibe, burn up the
Yeah,
planet, climate change, be stupid
yeah,
world, and we need
Yeah.
to move into the spiritual world. And the 0.01% don't want that. They don't want the big
Exactly.
club doesn't want that. As George
Right.
Carlin says, they want us to stay low vibe,
yeah,
psychotic, material based people. And so this is where, we gotta have an open source society. We can't
Well,
do this anymore. We can't
and
keep
and
making kids be
many have
survivors.
said that we are in a prison because we are their food, and they feed on low energetic emanations from us, whether it's fear or hate, anger, war, destruction. From what I've seen of human history, and I've studied human history more than a lot of people, and
Right.
my God, yes, when you look at the patterns and the artificial constructions of rulers that have kept us like a hamster on a treadmill, going around and around, and we never fucking get anywhere
No, we
because
have
we're
to.
repeating the same thing. Go ahead, Sue.
I'm sorry. No, but we have to do something because, like I said, I'm like real plantation worker, like low level. Yeah, like for real. And I see it, and I see it every day. And every day, I'm like, this is not how I am supposed to live. This is not how anyone is supposed to live. It's
Yeah.
insane. And
It is.
my thing is that if we walk away, we're
yes,
fine.
Christ,
Nothing
yes.
Yeah.
bad is gonna happen. Nothing
Like that.
world's not gonna fall apart.
But the thing is, the energy I feel is much higher because we're going into the Aquarius age. So if people are too low in 3D, they just disappear. And that's like if we cannot get to the higher consciousness, we
Right.
die.
Right.
That's for sure. That's a split of humankind. The people who want to stay in 3D, they can have it. They will not go to the other age. I'm quite sure.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
I don't know how it will happen, but that's I'm sure about.
Yeah.
I know this. I won the game. I do know this. I ain't coming back to Earth. I'm done. This is my final loop. I'm not doing Monkey Planet no damn more. I'm
Yes,
done.
I know.
I'm going to the next dimension. Y'all can have all this retarded stuff. I'm not doing it. I just got to pop up about DACA.
might have to do
Yay!
this Earth.
Biden restores the DACA, did something where the kids can come and stay. First of all, damn it, there is no such thing as America. There's no such thing as the United States. There are no borders. They're trying to put a wall up there. This is not yours. Doesn't belong to you. Nothing on this planet belongs to you. You are in the mind of God. And this is this spiritual, this is the level that we need to get to where
Yes.
all of that is bullshizzle. All of it.
Yes.
It's all controlled
Totally.
opposition, getting you to agree with colonization, colonized, and that people, the 0.01% own things that they don't own.
Yes.
Those kids who come here, they don't need a DACA visa. They don't need any of your approvals. This is their land. It's their land like it's your land.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get past everything to me is always based in a low vibe controlled opposition. They give
Yes.
you multiple options and they're all demonic. And we got to get out of that,
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not coming back to Earth. I'm done with Earth.
Mhm.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I'm not going back either. If I can choose, I would say no. I'm good here above. It seems to be if you have a kind of awareness, we can choose not to come back on Earth.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
But
not
we
even
have
a
to be.
choice. I'm done. I don't get that. If the aliens, spirituality is the mind of God, God can hear me right now. I ain't coming back. I am not coming back. I am not coming back. These Democrats and Republicans in America, hell no, no, I ain't doing it. Destroy my energy, okay? Destroy my. If I have to come back to Earth and do this nonsense anymore, just destroy my energy. Make me some goo. Make me a slug or something. I'm not doing this. I'm so sick of this. I love these people to death, but they're crazy. My family is texting right now. They are literally. I'm getting pop-ups right now talking about how Joe Biden is coming to help the black people. And I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
My brother does do that too.
I'm losing
My
my
brother.
mind. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, we living in the time. Do you know that the Pentagon said it's a damn UFO in an F-18 gun camera? Why are we having conversations about dumb, silly, ignorant stuff?
Yeah.
Wait, what are races? We got to. You're not a race. You're a spiritual energy. You are a god. Your children are God. Stop raising to be low vibing monkeys trying to beat the other monkeys from the damn bananas.
It's crazy.
I'm not coming back. I don't care. Make me a rock. I want to be a rock. God, if you listening, I want to be a boulder. I want to be a boulder. And when I come back, I want it to roll down a hill and hit Joe Biden's car or something. But I'm not going to. I will sit on top of the damn mountain for 80 million years to just roll down the hill and hit that damn car. I'm not doing this. I don't need arms and legs and a brain. If we can't evolve and use the pineal gland because we got a government that wants to inject us and put all of that in monkey tissue and animal tissue and all that human infant tissue inside of you, no, I don't need a brain. I don't need a body. I'm done with it. I know. I'm losing my mind. I need a hug. I know. That's just where I'm at right now.
No, we're going there. We're going there. I mean, I'm sure we're going to that higher consciousness. But it is. We have to get rid of it, and that's the question. But people keep adoring those most evil people that ever existed. Like, how is it possible?
There you go. Elongated skulls. Mark said it. It was not the cone
Yeah,
heads. That the
Yeah.
movie in the 80s. I get excited and say
Right.
stuff. It's the cone.
Is that the movie?
elongated skulls. It's a movie
Is that the
called The
movie?
Coneheads with Dan Aykroyd, I think.
Yeah.
There's a documentary about aliens came here and like the aliens would let us see them. I think the aliens are here. They wouldn't let us see them because we don't let wildlife see us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, that was like, it's like, okay, the excitement is.
Okay, here we go. And here's a great example. The crystal skulls were debunked. So go to the platform that just took billions of dollars in contracts that lies about a cardiovascular disease illness attached to a flu to find out if the crystal skulls are real. This is case in point. This is exactly what. Go to the people who have been lying to you for I don't know how long about everything. They lied to you about water. They lied to you about oxygen. They lied to you about what's in your food, your health, and they pretended they're here to save grandmama while they're poisoning your grandmama and ask them about ancient archaeology. That's a good idea. That's gonna help. We're gonna go to the most darkest vibing demonic corporation who decided to change their motto from don't do evil to do evil today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, is just make the whole planet full of blood, and we're going to program the drones to go blow up little children to steal the resource they live around. And let's go ask them about ancient archaeology and ascension. Great
Yeah.
idea, Paul.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yes.
Let me know what they tell you. Let me know what they tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Like crystal. Yeah, as if they wanted to share that knowledge if they know it. If they say it's debunked, then we should be sure that it is very important.
Oh, is it
Whatever.
really, Paul? Is it really ridiculous? Wow.
Then
Sorry.
he's a
It's
Buddhist teacher.
Look,
Paul, you're a Buddhist teacher. I don't know what kind of consciousness you reached, but you're not even human conscious, I believe. Come on.
Okay, so question. Would you go to a convicted pedophile and ask them to open a daycare? If you wouldn't go to a convicted pedophile to open a daycare, why would you go to a convicted liar to tell you the truth?
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, does that
So
make any
anyway,
sense?
after we die,
Pull it up, Susan. We're going dark. We're going dark. You got to need to pull us up into the light.
no, go ahead.
Come on.
Oh no, go
If
ahead.
but if they really are, they don't want to know. If you don't want to know people, then you don't come on this thread. We don't want to waste pearls for swines. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. No.
Open-minded
Done.
thread. So here's an open-minded example. Look, Clemencia just wrote. What if we are biological robots?
Mhm.
What if? What
Well,
if we
the body
are
is-
created
Mhm.
biological robots? I mean,
Well, that's
it's very possible.
I'm torn between
our
I am
bodies are.
God and I'm a simulation.
Mhm.
You
So
can be anything
bad.
you want to be.
Yeah. So, but you didn't
You know,
follow
you don't read about
anything. There was the most. I mean, I don't know if people. That was like the most powerful knowledge we got to hear now. And I see at the comments, they're totally out of what we talk
Yeah, they've
about.
been arguing.
Yeah.
There we
But
go.
I mean, they can do whatever they want. But if I would have that somebody read that knowledge to me, I didn't read it, I would be in heaven. I'm in heaven actually because I'm reading that book. I am in heaven. I'm really in heaven.
So, two things. Brother Paul told me to go fudge me, and I'll say this: Hey, Paul, if I was me 10 years ago, I'd tell myself go f off all the time. I was in a church. I didn't want to believe it with anybody. Well, I knew what was true. So I understand where you're coming from, brother. I would tell me to go f me too. But look, here's some more details of what Amy just posted, or Jabaka Kiran, whatever her name is now. People change their names all the damn time. The Paracas elongated skulls, right? So that's not the crystal skull. The Paracas skulls were the first elongated skulls that they found. And so that reminded me of something, which was that they found elongated skulls on every continent.
Yes.
I didn't know
that.
that.
Were the
Every
gods.
continent they found elongated. So this idea that, oh, well, one culture decided that they wanted to have big-headed children, so they decided to take some 2 bricks and some strings and abuse their children and squish their head when they're little cute little babies and make a little thing. No, it's because all of these cultures from all over the planet either have some hybrid DNA in them, maybe our heads shrank after a while, maybe they were trying to mimic the gods, but it was all over the planet. Who was going all over the planet in a busted reef wooden ship made of tar in 8,000 years ago? Who was doing that? Nobody. We don't know anything about history. And so that's another good example, right? The elongated skulls were found on every single continent.
Yep.
Very nice. Yeah.
Just like the megalithic structures, right? Like the keystone, the way they built the old megalithic structures where they would put the stone in and they would carve a groove to put a metal keystone. Those builders have buildings on every damn continent. We don't know anything about our past.
Yes.
We're not some people who just crawled out of caves 8,000 years ago. That's the most ignorant thing ever.
That's so stupid. I mean, really think about it, right? So 100 years ago was 1920. And like people still had horses, and what was the car just invented? Like nobody drove a car, right? And now we whatever, we go to space, if you want to believe it or not. I believe it, whatever. So we did that in 100 years. And you're telling me for 200,000 years, humans did nothing? Nothing. We didn't do anything. We didn't invent anything. And then all of a sudden, in 100 years, we went to the moon. I mean, come on. That doesn't even make sense. I I think we've been
Okay.
here in this cycle many times, many
Yes.
more,
Yeah.
at least 432,000 years. That's my 432.
And that was
Yeah.
that was something that the Matrix movies, the trilogy, went into. They didn't know how many times really that they had repeated that cycle of Zion being destroyed and then rebuilding it and doing it all over again.
No, we don't know that yet.
It's
No, but
it's
I think we did
we
it.
have been
Yeah, but our guru said it's the ninth time we the earth like totally by wrong using vanished and start over again. Now we should not start over again. She said now we should evolve to the real godlike dimension, 4D, and then later 5D.
Yeah. We have been in this Iron Age, this Kali
Yeah.
Yuga, a long time, a lot longer than 2,000 years.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Mhm.
And we won't leave until we decide to leave, until we finally, okay, all right, done, until we do the work and figure it out and begin to work on ourselves and say, this is bullshit. Bullshit. I'm done with it.
Yes.
It's the Matrix. It's the Matrix. Because this is BS.
Right.
This is not a stake. This is not real. This is not freedom.
Yeah.
This is not fun. This is not where we should be. We're not even at the current level of technology where DARPA and all. We don't want to do the Matrix anymore. We want to check out. Absolutely.
Yeah. We are done with this.
And we're not even like I feel like when man tries to be like, I created this chemicals to do whatever, it's gonna cause some kind of disaster because it's just not.
Yeah.
But if you're like, the Earth's natural frequencies on this vibration, so if we harness that and in together, then everybody gets healed. It's such a higher form of technology we have now that we can imagine, but it's real. It exists. It has existed before.
Yeah, so much. And I think we got too much down in lost in the matter because people they lost all the powers of the mind, all the powers they had, like those 3,000, 11,000 years. Like in Krishna's time, Krishna said they were having the Mahabharata. There's a war between it was also kind of the good and the evil, and he said in the book, yes, the weapons they used there, they also Krishna destroyed them because he knew in Kali Yuga they would destroy again the totally earth if they would exist. So Krishna, the god Krishna, took them out of from the planet. And they had advanced weapons advanced technology like we still don't have.
Right.
In Krishna, that is like 11 or 15,000 years ago.
Well, the thing is,
that's
like people aren't ready.
Just those hieroglyphs in Egypt where it looks, it's I don't care what anybody says, it's a spaceship, it's an airplane, and it's a helicopter.
Time travel.
They are.
It was talking about time travel, right? When you were reading, they were talking about how the Einstein type stuff, right? Where time, energy, and gravity are all a part of the same equation. You solve two, you got the others, and so they were talking about what is it, Rosenberg Bridge, where you can bend two together or fold space, right? Where you can travel in time. We do that today with when you see in the future and it happens.
Deja vu?
Deja vu.
There you go. That's actually it's a version of astral time travel where you were.
But we do it a little bit with our mind. I think we
right. And so here's the debate, because I guess they're still going back and forth with young Paul. and so the thing is that this is an open-minded conversation where we are discussing the things that we don't know.
Yes.
And this is what we're saying. We're saying that we were all indoctrinated to believe bullshizzle. And we don't want to believe the bullshizzle anymore because there's obvious evidence that it's all bullshizzle. And so anyone who's coming in to say, well, I know there's something wrong with you. We love you to death. We do. But you don't know. And what we do
We
know
don't know.
is the ancients knew things they should not have known. They went places we know they went that they should not have went if they were cavemen with ships with the little Viking oars. Brother just mentioned a minute ago, Mark, the Tower of Babel. Remember the Tower?
Yes,
Oh, that's just
exactly.
fake. That's not real. They made it up, put it in scripture, and then they found the Tower of Babylon, right? All the ancient cities in the Bible, they found them.
They
Yes.
found
So
them.
people who
That
are
is
like,
very
oh,
real.
it's myth. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, did they get the flood story right? No, because ancient texts are trying to clarify
But they
what it
found, they
was.
found,
Randall Carson's clarifying. But when you look at the history, you realize that these are history books.
yes.
Did
Yeah,
anyone
but
get history right? No. But
no,
they're
they
history
found,
books.
they found the palace of Krishna in India. They found it very deep under the water. The palace where Krishna lived in, as is described in the books. They found the bridge where the monkey god Sri Hanuman built the bridge from India to Sri Lanka to for finding Sri Sita, because Sri Sita was kept by the demon Ravana, and then Rama was her husband, Sri Rama. So. And the monkey god, he could have all the powers. He built a bridge with rocks, and they find the rocks with the name of Rama on in that between
Yes.
Sri Lanka and India. And that is like
Yeah.
11,000 years old. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, there's so much
There's-
there, but this is the. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's archaeological evidence all over the world
Yes.
blowing away the official narrative that
Yes.
civilization began 6,000 years ago. That idea is comic these days. It is
Yes.
It is.
you know, I'm looking at the comments, and Paul Bradley is citing Egyptologists, official Egyptologists. Laughing my ass off. Are you crazy? These people have been proven wrong scientifically 1,000 times over now, and you are still fighting them?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
And you're not the alpha, he's not the alpha and the omega. Jesus is the alpha and the omega. What's he saying?
People are. I mean, but this is the power of indoctrination, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the power of indoctrination is powerful, and like I said,
Yeah.
I mean, I was Paul. I was Paul. 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I believed the things that my government told me. I believed that they were there for my health. I believed that they wanted to take care of me. And then I realized it's not actually my government, and it's not even a government. It's a corporation. Everything we know is a lie, and it's. But this is like what we talked about earlier, right? Like, it's hard for people to accept that they live in a false reality.
Yes.
How does that saying go? It's easier to lie to someone. Oh, no, it's easier to somebody fix it. Before I do it,
Yeah,
I was just gonna say-
it's easier to believe. Wacht. Yeah, it's from Mark Twain. It's
It's easier to teach. It's easier to prove to someone. It's easier to lie to someone to prove to them that they've been lied to. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
yeah, something.
Well, it's easier to. Twain's quote was, "It's hard for people to admit that they've been fooled."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the gist.
It's
of
more
his
easy to fool. It's more easy to
Yes.
fool people than
Yes.
tell them that they're being fooled.
quote. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, people
Yeah.
don't want to admit they've been. See, we
Yeah.
build our lives around what we think is real. We build our lives around our belief systems. And so, in my family, I have a few of them where, their career, their kids, the schools they go to, what they believe, where they built their house, like their whole lifestyle is based on this idea that we are the good guys. We tell the truth. Our government is good. They serve on campaigns, stuff like that. And it's traumatic, I
My
think, for
family's
some
same.
people to actually embrace the idea that their entire life, from what they taught their kids to their grandkids to how they live to where they work, that it's all bull shizzle, and
Yep.
that they're not serving the good guys and they're not
Right.
working for the good team. It's like I have a friend, and I don't do names or anything, who went through major traumas as a child. And how do children protect themselves from the truth? Like real the most abusive stories I've ever heard in my life, this person told me. And She don't remember any of them. Her mind completely blocked out all of the horrible, foul
That's what the mind
things
does.
that would make you want to murder someone for doing this to a baby. And the mind blocks it out so they can exist. And the mind protects
Trauma.
you, right? You know, it
Trauma-based
protects you from the trauma. You know, I'm not a psychologist, but I've listened to enough of them to know that, and so we do that. And I'm not saying it's a psychological thing that people do it, but I think there's probably a spectrum to where really horrible traumas, your brain blocks out to protect you so you can function, all the way up to just sociological ones in society.
To survive.
You're right. Your brain knows, I got to go to work tomorrow. I got a mortgage to pay. I got this to do. I got this to do. It's a very logical thing that your mind protects you from things that won't allow you to function.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
And that's like the story like told from Anneke Lucas. Their mind blocked her for a long time, and then till she was ready to reveal what happened to her, and then she became the healer, like the abuse.
I'm so flipped around. I'm just redoing the same comments. There's so many good comments here. I don't want to miss them. And all right, I apologize if I didn't show your comment. I'm all flipped around.
I was gonna say, like, because you know how like we're born, right, and we're kind of born pure, right? So we're like indoctrinated when the confusion comes in. So we're told the lie, but we the truth, and that's where the conflict and struggle of life comes in. Us,
you sense it's different.
Yes, and then I think you become more realize when you start, this is the truth in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to even go there, but like with Paul, right? You don't debate ideas of philosophy and religion. You discuss them. You try to seek for a higher understanding. You debate politics. So, no offense.
And you cannot discuss meditation. Meditation is what you...
Sorry. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's yeah. And the thing is, like, because if you meditate, you grow to a higher awareness, and you're able to capture that knowledge. And the goal of meditation is not just meditation; is really growing that higher and higher and higher awareness. Is the only goal of meditation. That's for me. Otherwise, why should I meditate?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna agree with Paul right here. I need to agree with the brother. It's my brother. Love my brother. Crazy as hell. Like a bag of rocks wet on a Sunday, which I don't even know what that means. But so I agree, right? The real conspiracy is short-sighted greed.
Yeah, in that case.
In money, power, information, access to resources, but mostly in knowledge. They've been lying to us from the very beginning, and they keep such great secrets to keep us in the low vibe spaces that they keep us in. So I absolutely agree with Paul. I agree. The conspiracy is power, money, and knowledge. And knowledge is power, but it's only powerful if it's denied from you, right? Information only has real power if you don't know it. And so they've been doing this from the very beginning. But I agree, absolutely agree with that. We just have to take it further. Those who will keep money from you, they won't give you knowledge. They're going to keep it all from you.
Exactly.
But I don't like honestly, I was tired of being miserable, and that's how I got here. So, I mean, like, nobody taught me. I didn't have the money to pay for anyone, or I just decided to look for things myself. So even though they have the knowledge, we still have, you realize the power of your minds. And like, I'm not, you know, it was me. It was me wanting to learn and wanting to search, and you start finding it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, they have secrets that we need to know, but I don't think we need them. I think we have it in us to discover it for ourselves. Yes. Yes, we can beat this matrix at any time, people.
Yes,
Do
you
that.
can.
Oh, can I do the debate? I got to
like
answer
that.
Paul real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I want to debate you, Paul? No, actually, I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care what Susan thinks. I don't care what Jonathan thinks. I don't care what Christine thinks, nor do I care what Paul thinks. Debating is a narcissistic thing, right? Like, and this is where I
It
got
needs to be
to
right.
earlier this year, where I thought about it. I was like, why do I want to make Jonathan believe what I believe? That's not only stupid and a waste of my time, it breaks Jonathan. Jonathan has his own experiences, his own information, and he's going his own direction. You know, Paul has his own experiences, his own information, and you're going your own direction. If you're not going this way, then don't go this way. Like, I think that's the right thing. For you to accept the things that we're talking about and you're not ready to accept them, that would be a violation. And so I don't try to make anybody believe anything. I don't debate anybody about anything. I put information out. I listen to the information these folks put out, and then I make up my own world in my own mind, and I go in my own direction. And I'm fine with what everybody believes, you know. So no, I don't want to debate anyone because that would be a violation. It would be me accepting that it's okay for me to try to force you to believe what I believe. This is why I get along with people who are Democrats and Republicans and all of this stuff, because I really don't care what they believe. You got to live your own life. You are a spiritual creature, whether you believe it or not, having a human experience, and you need to have your experience, you know, but we're all not supposed to go the same direction. So no, I'm not interested in having a fight. Prove it's right, wrong, right, wrong, right, wrong. How about this? We don't know. We have no damn idea. So I like to keep an open mind.
And we're manifestation engines, right?
Yes.
So, like, if I believe in a certain kind of heaven and you believe in a certain kind of heaven, you believe, and there's all these awesome heavens. You know what I mean? To choose from.
Yeah,
Like, you have to be just one. Like, I don't understand why everything's like, I have to make a choice. No, have them all. You choose more than one. It doesn't have to be a certain way. It doesn't. We need to free ourselves. We are so far from knowing what real freedom is that we don't get it.
Yeah, and so freeing ourselves, and so well, a good thing what Paul is good on, seeing how Paul is the star of the show. When it comes to building communities, off grid, growing food, stuff like that, and this is where we vibe. We absolutely vibe there. We do not vibe when it comes to having an open mind about the fourth grade science teacher knowing what's true. We don't. I don't think she knew what was true. I think she was told what was true, like everybody else.
Exactly. She Googled it, and she listened to the Egyptologists, the official ones that get funded.
That is such a special word, an Egyptologist. It's not a science.
Right, Paul Bradley?
They literally just pulled some crap out of a sandwich and stuffed it in some glue with some okra or something. It's Egyptology. No, it's not. In fact, you know what's hilarious? The funniest thing about Egyptology to me, Jonathan, is the fact that people in Britain, what is it? Correct me, somebody do the numbers, but I believe it's 70% of the people in Britain are direct descendants of King Tut. It was either Britain or Sweden. I forgot which one. And only 1% of the people who live in Egypt are actually direct descendants of King Tut. They're not even the people who belong there. They walked there from somebody that came there from East Jip Babalubu and ended up there like, oh, this is our ancients. You're not even related to King Tut. So it's just, you know, people need to calm down and just, you know, breathe.
Egypt is a reflection of the heavens on earth. So if you're studying Egypt, you're studying the heavens.
Yeah.
The ancient, but that's
how the pyramids are laid out.
How it's supposed to be.
Let's
No, I'm not bringing them on. No, I love Paul to death. No, not gonna happen. Last time I had Paul on, he beat on the desk, blew something up, broke a desk, something like. I don't have a
energy. I
debate.
feel like I've already
not,
given too much to him.
Come on, we don't want to debate. He doesn't get it.
Yes.
He doesn't get it. We don't want to debate. You can have your beliefs. That's okay, but we have our beliefs. You cannot convince me from your beliefs. I believe what I believe. Susan doesn't believe what she believes. Jonathan and Jared have their beliefs. We have a lot of similar things, but we still have our difference, and that's okay.
You know what I
I've raised
enjoy?
3 boys. You guys can't ignore them. I can ignore it. I can totally turn my energy off of that. You guys ready?
Yeah.
You know what I enjoy? I enjoy conversations that expand my mind. Like
Yes.
I enjoy conversations that do that. Like listening to people who say things I'm like, I never even thought about that. That makes some great sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, wow, there's a lot more I don't know. But conversations design debates to restrict your thought and to put you back in the box that this 0.01% have had us in. I'm not interested in that. Like I don't. They've been doing that to me my entire life. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
so
but
like I
how
said,
much
it's.
did you, true? How much did we learn? How long do we know each other? Like, yeah, I think I'm with you like from 2018. I'm regularly. How much I did learn! It's amazing. It's so wonderful. A
Yeah.
whole new world goes open. I mean, really, all these different kind of topics. It's so wonderful. If I would say no, I just keep to my thing, I would be still the
Well,
same. You don't
yeah.
evolve when you don't meet other points of view.
Yeah. Like look at the positive comments. Like let's start our own planet. Man, I'm on board with that. Let's go start a planet. Let's go do some fun stuff. Grow some food, have a garden, think about some things, some yoga, meditate. Yes, I love all of that. But it's just weird, people. I don't know why people ask. Don't feed the monkey bananas. Just a debate with me. You know what that's like? Well,
Don't
this
give
is
the
what I
narcissist
know. It's
attention.
like okay,
Yeah.
this is what I know.
Don't
Next
feed
topic.
them.
Right. Like I don't have any interest. Like if you don't have any interest in changing somebody else's mind, what is the point of a debate?
Yes.
There is none.
I have
You know?
nothing to say to him. Nothing at all.
Nothing. No.
Like I
Let's,
appreciate the guy. I love the guy to death. It's just I don't. We're indoctrinated as broken people, and we carry that too far.
Yeah.
You know these sociopathic and narcissistic ideas that we know things that none of us really can say that we know. It's ridiculous. The only thing I know for sure, people, is I don't know. And this is why I put in my life, I put things on this plausibility scale. What is plausible? Flat Earth to me, that's down around the 5%. I'm really low on flat Earth theories, right? They got a lot of stuff right about NASA and they lie and a lot of stuff doesn't make any sense. But I don't really know at the end of the day. Right? Are aliens real? Oh, that's like 99.9999% because it's almost impossible that I'm the only game. If I'm the only intelligent
There's
thing
a
in the
higher rate
universe,
of alien than coronavirus.
right? Like, you know what? God has real issues if the humans are the only intelligent thing in the universe. God needs to go back to school. God, you messed everything up. God, you missed and failed out of some classes and stuff if the humans are the only intelligent game in town. So I put everything on a plausibility scale, but the reality is I just don't know. And it's just it's narcissistic and sociopathic and stupid for me to try to convince somebody of something that I already admit I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah.
So,
right,
anyhow.
We went on, and we're definitely not doing another chapter because we'll be here to 2 a.m.
Yeah, and it's for me, it's 2 a.m. for
No, poor Christine. We have to do this earlier next week because this was great, and there's so much more. We got like all kinds of stuff.
We start one chapter of one book, whatever book it is, and oh my God, it's wonderful. It's lovely. It's amazing.
I've got
But,
very, very short little thing that might be nice to close it out with if we're done.
Okay.
This is from Meister Eckhart. I'm not sure if any of you.
Yeah, Meister Eckhart. Yeah.
Yes.
It's good.
He was in the Christian tradition. He was a mystic, and the church condemned him after his death because they couldn't defeat him in debate while he was alive. He defeated them several times in debate, and they finally condemned him after death in absentia. This is a famous quote of his. Let me find it again here. and it ties together a lot of the things that we've been saying all throughout our cast today. When I preach, I usually speak of disinterest, detachment, and say that a man should be empty of self and all things. And secondly, that he should be reconstructed in the simple goodness that God is. And thirdly, that he should consider the great aristocracy of soul, which God has set up within himself, such that by means of it, human beings may wonderfully attain to God nature. And fourthly, of the purity of that divine nature. Nice, huh?
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's Meister Eckhart. I'll probably do a live cast on him.
Oh yeah, I like my
Yeah,
strike.
that would be good.
Yeah.
wait. Crap. Where's it at?
That's something.
Darn it. Oh, all right. I'll just read the chapter real quick because it kind of goes to that. But it just reminded me of kind of like today and how everything's twisted science and stuff. But student of pure philosophy studies the sciences, not as fanciful theories, but as devotion to God. I replaced Adam with that.
Yes, beautiful.
Because they reveal a universe perfectly ordered by the power of number. Because measuring the depths of the sea, forces of fire, and magnitudes of physical things leads to a reverent awe as the Creator's skill and wisdom. Because the mysteries of music bear witness to the unsurpassed talent of the supreme artist who has beautifully harmonized all things into a single whole, infused with sweet melodies.
Beautiful.
Very all in harmony. So
All in harmony.
Yeah.
We are music.
yeah, everything. Yeah, the sea is not 1 inch too deep because my guru said the nature is always in harmony. If the sea would be 10 inch more deeper, you would be flooded. The sea knows how to keep its depth. The trees knows to stop when they're high enough, so they all keep their balance. Only human beings they don't keep their balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staying balanced, and everything started with music,
Yeah.
right? The Big
Yeah.
Bang in the beginning was the Word, and the Word
Yes.
was God, and all of that great, delicious stuff that started in the Hermetica that somebody else changed and put in some other books and stuff. But all right, folks. Hey, it was great, fantastic. Thanks for hanging in there. It was a long talk, but I thought it was delicious. This was wonderful. We must do chapter 2
Yes.
before too long. So everybody else in the room, thank you guys for joining. Appreciate all of your sharing and joining in on the conversation. If we don't see you guys, have a great weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.